The year was 2157. Captain Ethan Cole stood on the bridge of the Earth expeditionary vessel Horizon, watching the stars through the main view screen. This was humanity's third mission beyond the solar system, and Ethan felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. "Captain, we're picking up something strange," said Lieutenant Kate Miller, her eyes fixed on her sensor display. "It's big and it's definitely not natural." Ethan moved to her station. "How far?" "Just beyond the Oort cloud, sir. It's changing course. I think it's coming toward us." The bridge fell silent. First Officer Jack Powell joined them, his expression serious. "Asteroid miners and probes are one thing, but we've never encountered another ship this far out." "Yellow alert," Ethan ordered, "and open all frequencies for communication." The next hours were tense as the object approached. It was massive, at least 3 times the size of the Horizon, with a sleek design that spoke of advanced technology. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission," Communications Officer Diane Chen announced. It's in English." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Put it through." A voice filled the bridge, smooth and slightly musical. "Greetings, vessel from Earth. I am Ambassador Zorthak of the Galactic Council. We wish to establish diplomatic contact." Ethan exchanged glances with Jack. The existence of alien life had been theorized, but actual contact had never been made. "This is Captain Ethan Cole of the Earth expeditionary vessel Horizon. We return your greeting and welcome the opportunity for diplomatic exchange." After several more exchanges, arrangements were made. The alien vessel would send a small shuttle to the Horizon. Security Chief Lisa Reyes wasn't happy about it, but Ethan insisted on following diplomatic protocol. "If they wanted to destroy us," he told her, "that ship out there could have done it already." When the shuttle docked, Ethan led a small reception team to meet their visitors. The airlock cycled open to reveal 3 beings unlike anything humans had ever seen. The one in front was tall and thin, with limbs that seemed too long for its body. Its skin shifted colors, moving from deep blue to purple like the northern lights on Earth. This had to be Zorthak. Behind him stood 2 larger creatures, with thick, scaly skin and powerful builds. Their yellow eyes scanned the humans with what looked like suspicion. "Captain Cole," said Zorthak, his mouth not quite matching the words somehow, "I am pleased to meet you in person. These are my security advisors from the Vraxian Imperium." "Welcome aboard the Horizon," Ethan replied, keeping his voice steady, despite his racing heart. "May I introduce my First Officer Jack Powell and Chief Science Officer Dr. Amanda West." The meeting moved to the ship's conference room. Zorthak explained that the Galactic Council was a confederation of 76 spacefaring species that had governed the Milky Way for over 10,000 years. "We have been observing Earth for some time," he said. "Your development has been notable." "How long have you been watching us?" Dr. West asked. "Our first probes arrived during your 18th century, Zorthak answered. "We typically monitor developing worlds from a distance." The conversation seemed to be going well until Zorthak's tone changed. "Captain Cole, I must now share the true purpose of our meeting." The alien skin darkened to a deep purple. "The Galactic Council has made a decision regarding Earth." Ethan felt a chill. "What kind of decision?" "The Council has determined that humans are too unpredictable and potentially dangerous to be allowed free access to interstellar space. Earth is to be placed under quarantine." The humans in the room stared in shock. "Quarantine?" Jack repeated. "On what grounds?" One of the Vraxian guards spoke for the first time, its voice a low rumble. "Your species wages war against itself. You develop weapons before you develop wisdom. The patterns are clear." "We've made mistakes," Ethan admitted, "but we've also grown from them, in the last century alone." "The decision has been made," the Vraxian interrupted. "Automated weapons platforms will be installed around your solar system. Any attempt to breach the quarantine will result in serious consequences." Zorthak raised a hand to quiet his guard. "What my colleague means is that the Council values stability above all. You will be allowed to continue development within your solar system, but not beyond it. Ethan leaned forward. And if we refuse? Then Earth's space infrastructure will be disabled, Zorthak said quietly. In extreme cases, the Council has ordered planetary bombardment. Though I personally argued against such measures for Earth, the meeting ended with Zorthak giving them 30 Earth days to return home and inform their leaders. As the aliens prepared to leave, Zorthak pulled Ethan aside. Captain, off the record, I voted against this action. Some of us believe humanity deserves a chance to join the galactic community. But the Security Committee led by the Vraxian Imperium overruled us. Is there any way to appeal this decision? Ethan asked. Officially, no, Zorthak replied. But the Council is not as united as we appear. Remember that. After the alien shuttle departed, Ethan called Earth immediately. The news was received with shock and dismay. The Horizon was ordered to return at maximum speed. 2 weeks later, Ethan stood in the United Nations Security Council chamber in New York, repeating everything he had learned. Secretary General Olivia Martinez listened with a grave expression. So, we have 16 days left to decide, she summarized when he finished. General Ryan Harris, head of Earth's combined military, spoke up. We should prepare for war. We won't be imprisoned in our own solar system. Against 76 spacefaring civilizations? Ambassador Helen Park countered, that's suicide. The debate raged on for hours. Some argued for compliance to buy time. Others insisted on immediate military preparation. A few even suggested trying to negotiate better terms. After the meeting, Ethan found himself in a smaller room with Secretary General Martinez and a handful of key advisors. Captain Cole, Martinez said, you spent time with these aliens. What's your assessment? Ethan considered carefully. The Vraxians want us contained or destroyed, but Zorthak and possibly others might be sympathetic. He hinted at divisions within the Council. Dr. Alan Wright, head of Earth's Quantum Computing Division, had been quiet until now. He was an unassuming man with thick glasses, but his mind was legendary. Madam Secretary, he said, I have an idea. It doesn't involve military action, at least not directly. I'm listening, Martinez replied. They left behind communication equipment when they visited the Horizon, correct? When Ethan nodded, Wright continued, I believe we might be able to use it to access their information network. Learn more about what we're really facing. Espionage? Martinez asked. Intelligence gathering, Wright corrected. Before we decide how to respond, we need to understand who we're dealing with. Captain Cole said there are divisions among them. Let's find out what those are. Martinez looked at Ethan. Would this work? It's risky, Ethan admitted. But Dr. Wright is the best at what he does. And frankly, we need every advantage we can get. Martinez nodded slowly. Implement it. But in the meantime, we'll continue official communications. We need to buy time. She looked around the room. Let me be clear. What's said in this room stays in this room. To the public, we're considering the Council's terms. But in reality, we're planning our response, Ethan finished. Exactly, Martinez said. And if the Galactic Council thinks humans will simply accept imprisonment in our own solar system, they have gravely misunderstood our species. Dr. Alan Wright hadn't slept in 3 days. The alien communication device sat on his workbench, partially disassembled. Around him, a team of Earth's brightest minds worked in focused silence. They had converted an underground facility in Colorado into their secret headquarters. Operation Trojan Horse, they called it. Dr. Susan Kelly, a quantum physicist with short red hair and intense green eyes, looked up from her calculations. Alan, I think I figured something out about their communication method. Alan moved to her station. Susan pointed to her screen where complex equations filled the display. They're using quantum entanglement, but with a twist we never considered, she explained. It's like they've found a way to create stable entanglement across vast distances without degradation. Eric Jones, their artificial intelligence specialist, joined them. If we can understand this, we might be able to tap into their network without them knowing. It would be like listening to their phone calls. Alan nodded. Keep working on it. We have less than 2 weeks before they expect an answer. While the scientists worked underground, the public face of Earth's response was taking shape. Vice Admiral Natalie Rivera was chosen to lead a diplomatic mission back to the edge of the solar system. Her official task: request clarification of terms and an extension of the deadline. Natalie stood in Secretary General Martinez's office reviewing her instructions. Remember, your main goal is to buy time, Martinez said. Every day you keep them talking is another day for Dr. Wright's team to work. And if they refuse to extend the deadline, Natalie asked, then at least try to learn more about them. Ambassador Zorthak seemed more reasonable than the others. Focus on him. Natalie nodded. We launch tomorrow. The horizon is being prepared now. Back in Colorado, a breakthrough came in the middle of the night. Eric Jones had been running simulations on their new quantum computer when he noticed something unusual. They're not just using quantum entanglement for communication, he told Alan and Susan when they rushed to his lab. They're using it to create a massive interstellar network. It's like the internet, but instantaneous across any distance. Susan's eyes widened. And you think we can access it? Not only access it, Eric said with a grin. I think we can do it without them detecting us. They worked through the night. By morning, they had managed to create a simple connection to what they believed was the alien network. The interface was strange, with symbols they didn't recognize, but Eric's AI programs began translating immediately. We're in, Alan said quietly, as the first translated data appeared on their screens. Now we need to be careful about what we access. We don't want to trigger any alarms. At the edge of the solar system, Vice Admiral Rivera's mission was making progress of its own. The horizon had reached the rendezvous point and communication had been established with Zorthak's vessel. Vice Admiral, Zorthak said, his image flickering on the view screen. I did not expect to see humans again before the deadline. We have questions about the terms, Natalie replied, and requests for clarification. It would be helpful to discuss this in person. Zorthak agreed, and soon he was aboard the horizon, this time without his Vraxian guards. In the ship's conference room, Natalie found him easier to talk to than she had expected. Your world has never faced a situation like this, Zorthak said. I understand your need for more information. Why does the Council consider us so dangerous? Natalie asked. We've barely left our solar system. Zorthak's skin shifted to a thoughtful blue. It is not what you have done, but what some believe you might do. The Vraxians, in particular, have ancient prophecies about a world of warriors that would disrupt the galactic balance. You don't believe these prophecies? I believe in judging species by their actions, not ancient texts, Zorthak replied. But the Vraxians command the Council's largest military force. Many species voted for the quarantine simply to avoid confrontation with them. This was valuable information. During the next 3 days, Natalie met with Zorthak several times, learning more about the Council's politics and the various species involved. She discovered that many Council members were curious about humans but had voted for the quarantine out of fear or political necessity. Meanwhile, in Colorado, Dr. Wright's team was making startling discoveries. They had gained access to vast sections of the Council's information network without detection. It's amazing, Susan said during their daily briefing with Secretary General Martinez, conducted over a secure quantum line. Their technology is advanced in some areas, particularly space travel and energy production, but in others they've stagnated. Stagnated how? Martinez asked. Alan took over. They rely heavily on artificial intelligence for innovation. Over time, this has led to predictability. They solve problems in the same ways, using the same approaches. There's little original thinking. And there's something else, Eric added. Many of these species are specialized. They evolved for specific environments and developed specific strengths. Humans are generalists by comparison. We adapt quickly to new situations. Martinez considered this. So despite their technological advantage, we might have other advantages. Exactly, Alan said. And I don't think they understand that. The next day, Natalie returned from her mission with a wealth of intelligence about the Council's internal politics. In a secure meeting room deep beneath the UN building in New York, Earth's leaders gathered to hear the combined findings of the diplomatic and intelligence operations. "We have options," Martinez told the assembled group. "The Council is not as united as they want us to believe. Several species voted reluctantly for the quarantine, others abstained." General Harris remained skeptical. "Even if some of them are sympathetic, the Vraxians aren't, and they have the biggest guns." "But not the only guns," Natalie pointed out. "And from what Zorthak told me, many Council species are uncomfortable with the Vraxians' growing influence." Dr. Wright presented his team's findings about the Council's technological strengths and weaknesses. Then he revealed their most recent breakthrough. "We've developed what we're calling a quantum virus," he explained. "It can temporarily disable their weapons platforms without destroying them. If they try to install those platforms around Earth, we can neutralize them without firing a shot." "Won't that be seen as an act of war?" someone asked. "Not if we do it right," Allen replied. "The virus simply causes the systems to report false data. The platforms will appear to be functioning normally, but they won't actually target anything." Secretary General Martinez stood. "I think it's time we formulated our official response to the Council, but it won't be the response they're expecting." She turned to her Chief of Staff. "Prepare a broadcast on all frequencies the Council might be monitoring. I want to address them directly." "What will you say?" General Harris asked. Martinez smiled. "I'm going to invite them to get to know us better. Not with weapons, but with words and ideas. It's time the Galactic Council learned what humans are really capable of." Secretary General Olivia Martinez stood before the cameras in the United Nations Assembly Hall. Her emerald green dress was chosen carefully, the color of life and growth. Behind her stood representatives from every nation on Earth. This broadcast would be seen not only by humans, but if their plan worked, by the Galactic Council as well. "People of Earth and members of the Galactic Council," she began, her voice steady and clear. "Today marks a turning point in human history. We have been offered a choice that is no choice at all, to accept imprisonment in our own solar system or face destruction." She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. "But we propose a different path. One that honors the Council's concern for galactic stability while respecting humanity's right to grow and explore." In his laboratory, Dr. Alan Wright watched the broadcast while monitoring alien communication channels. They had positioned special satellites to relay Martinez's message on frequencies the Council used. "Instead of a quarantine, we propose a partnership," Martinez continued. "For 100 years, humans will accept limitations on our expansion, traveling no more than 20 light-years from our sun. During this time, we invite Council representatives to live among us, to study our art, our music, our literature, our sciences, and in return, we ask to learn about you." The speech continued, highlighting humanity's achievements in art and science, their ability to overcome differences, and their desire for peaceful cooperation. Martinez ended with a direct appeal. "To the members of the Council who voted reluctantly for our quarantine, we hear you. To those who abstained, we thank you. And to those who advocated for our destruction, we invite you to reconsider. Earth extends its hand in friendship." As the broadcast ended, Alan's monitoring equipment lit up with activity. "They received it," he told Susan and Eric. "Multiple Council species are discussing it right now." Meanwhile, Captain Ethan Cole prepared for the most daring mission of his career. He would lead a small fleet of Earth's newest ships, equipped with technology reverse-engineered from the Council's data, to make direct contact with the Ardelians, a philosophical species known for their advocacy of cultural exchange. "This is risky," Jack Powell, his first officer, said as they reviewed the mission plan. "If the Vraxians intercept us, they might attack without waiting for Council approval." "That's why we're not taking a direct route," Ethan replied. "Dr. Wright's team found gaps in their sensor network. We can make most of the journey undetected." The small fleet consisted of 5 ships: the Horizon, now refitted with enhanced engines and shields, and 4 smaller vessels. Among the crew were linguist Maria Ryan and cultural anthropologist Ben Garcia, chosen for their expertise in communication and cultural understanding. 3 days after Martinez's speech, they departed Earth under cover of a routine solar observation mission. Once beyond Jupiter, they activated their new drive systems and disappeared from conventional detection. The journey would take 2 weeks. During that time, Earth waited anxiously for the Council's response. Some signals had been detected, but nothing official. On the 7th day of their journey, trouble found them. The fleet's sensors detected 3 large vessels approaching on an intercept course. Vraxian patrol ships, Ethan announced to his crew. Battle stations. The Earth ships scattered according to their emergency protocol, but the Vraxian vessels were faster than expected. They quickly moved to surround the horizon. "They're charging weapons," reported Lisa Reyes from the tactical station. Ethan gripped his chair. Evasive maneuvers try to open a channel. Before he could finish, a new ship appeared between them and the Vraxians. It was unlike any vessel they had seen before, with a crystalline structure that seemed to bend light around it. "We're being hailed," Diane Chen announced, surprised. "It's not from the Vraxians." "On screen," Ethan ordered. The view screen showed a being with metallic blue skin and 4 arms. "Captain Cole of Earth," the being said. "I am Captain Nivtal of the Teslari Exploration Guild. We suggest you follow us immediately." Without waiting for a response, the crystalline ship fired what looked like lightning bolts at the Vraxian vessels. The bolts didn't seem to damage the ships but caused their lights to flicker. "They've disabled the Vraxians' weapons temporarily," Lisa reported. "Similar to our quantum virus." "Follow that ship," Ethan commanded. "Signal the rest of the fleet." The Teslari vessel led them through what appeared to be a hidden jump point, a shortcut through space that didn't appear on any of their charts. The Vraxian ships tried to follow but seemed unable to detect the entry point. Hours later, they found themselves in an unfamiliar star system with 2 suns. The Teslari ship guided them to a space station hidden within the rings of a gas giant. Once docked, Captain Nivtal came aboard the horizon. "You are wondering why we helped you," the 4-armed alien said without preamble. "The thought had crossed my mind," Ethan replied. "Your leader's speech reached many within the Council. Not all agree with the quarantine decision. The Teslari remain neutral in Council politics, but we value knowledge and cultural exchange above all else." "So you're risking censure from the Council to learn about us?" Ben Garcia asked. "We risk it because we believe the Council is making a mistake," Nivtal said. "The Vraxians push for your containment out of fear based on ancient prophecies that have been mistranslated over thousands of years. This confirmed what they had learned from Zorthak." Nivtal continued, explaining that several Council species had been monitoring Martinez's broadcasts and discussing them secretly. "Your proposal is being considered by more Council members than you know," the Teslari captain said. "But the Ardelians are key. They hold significant influence among the philosophical and artistic factions. If you can convince them to support you openly, others will follow." "That's where we were headed when you found us," Maria Ryan said. "Then we will help you reach them safely," Nivtal promised. "But first we have much to discuss. Your technology is more advanced than expected. How did you achieve this so quickly?" Ethan exchanged glances with his officers. How much should they reveal about Operation Trojan Horse? Back on Earth, Alan Wright's team monitored the ripples spreading through the Council's communication network. Martinez's speech had caused unprecedented discussion, with several species questioning the quarantine decision. "The Ardelians are particularly active," Susan noted. "They're citing human literature and music in their arguments." "How did they get access to our cultural database?" Eric wondered. Alan smiled. "I might have helped that information find its way into their systems. Nothing like Shakespeare and Mozart to make a good impression." Secretary General Martinez received their latest report with cautious optimism. "So our 2-pronged approach is working. Captain Cole's mission to establish direct contact, and our information campaign through their networks. There's something else," Alan added. "The Vraxians are pushing for immediate action. They want to install the weapons platforms now before the Council can fully debate your proposal." Martinez's expression hardened. Then we need to be ready with our countermeasure. Is the quantum virus ready for deployment? Ready and waiting, Alan confirmed. If they try to set up those platforms, we can neutralize them without firing a shot. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Martinez said. But Earth will not be caged without a fight, even if that fight takes place in cyberspace rather than with conventional weapons. The Ardelian homeworld looked like a painting come to life. From orbit, Captain Ethan Cole and his crew saw vast oceans of turquoise blue and landmasses covered in purple and gold vegetation. The Teslari ship had guided them safely through hidden routes, avoiding Vraxian patrols. It's beautiful, Maria Ryan said, standing beside Ethan on the bridge. As the fleet's linguist, she would play a crucial role in the coming meetings. The Ardelians are known for their appreciation of beauty, Ben Garcia added. Their entire society is built around philosophical and artistic pursuits. After receiving clearance to enter orbit, Ethan, Maria, and Ben prepared to shuttle down to the surface. The Ardelians had agreed to meet them but had requested a small delegation only. Remember, Ethan told his team, our goal is to convince them to support our case in the council. According to our intelligence, they have significant influence among the more peaceful factions. The shuttle landed in a circular plaza surrounded by spiraling towers that seemed to be made of living crystal. Waiting for them was a group of Ardelians, tall, slender beings with iridescent skin in shades of gold and amber. Their 4 eyes were set in diamond patterns on their faces. The lead Ardelian stepped forward. I am Venlar, Chief Philosopher of the Western Continent. Welcome to Ardelia, humans of Earth, Maria responded with the formal greeting they had practiced, including several phrases in the Ardelian language. Venlar's eyes widened in surprise and pleasure. You speak our tongue, the alien said. Few outsiders make the effort. We believe. Understanding begins with communication, Maria replied. The meeting moved to a circular chamber inside one of the crystal towers. The walls were lined with what appeared to be books and artwork from dozens of worlds. To the humans' surprise, they spotted several Earth items, a copy of the Mona Lisa, a first edition of Shakespeare's sonnets, and a vinyl record of Mozart's symphonies. You are familiar with our culture, Ben noted. We have been studying Earth. For longer than you might think, Venlar admitted. Your art, your music, your literature, they speak of a species with depth and creativity that the Vraxians would deny. Over the next several hours, the humans presented their case, not with threats or demands, but with stories, art, and music. Ben shared myths from various Earth cultures. Maria recited poetry in several languages. Ethan spoke of humanity's journey from tribal conflicts to global cooperation. We still have our flaws, Ethan acknowledged. But we learn from our mistakes. We grow. Venlar and the other Ardelians listened intently. When the humans finished, the chief philosopher was silent for a long moment. You have given us much to consider, he finally said. The Vraxians paint you as warriors only, violent and unpredictable. Yet we see before us diplomats and scholars. This contradiction must be resolved. Meanwhile, back in Earth's solar system, the situation was growing tense. A large Vraxian fleet had arrived at the edge of the Oort cloud, 9 massive warships and dozens of smaller vessels. They're not waiting for the Council's final decision, Secretary General Martinez observed grimly as she reviewed the sensor data. They're moving to install the weapons platforms now. Vice Admiral Natalie Rivera, who had returned from her diplomatic mission, stood beside her. We've detected communication between their fleet and Ambassador Zorthak's ship. There appears to be an argument. Zorthak is trying to stop them, Alan Wright suggested. He knows the Council is still debating our proposal. It doesn't look like the Vraxian commander is listening, Natalie said. They're deploying the first platforms now. Martinez's face hardened. Then we deploy our countermeasure. Dr. Wright, activate the quantum virus. In his lab, Alan sent the command. The virus had been planted in the Vraxian weapon systems through the backdoor they had discovered in the Council's network. On the view screens, they watched as the Vraxian platforms came online, and then immediately reported all systems normal, despite not actually targeting anything. It worked, Susan Kelly said, monitoring the data stream. The platforms think they're operational, but they're not. The Vraxians won't realize it unless they try to fire them. Back on Ardelia, the human delegation had been invited to a grand assembly of Ardelian philosophers and artists. Venlar had arranged for them to present their case to the planet's ruling council. As they entered the vast amphitheater, Maria gasped. The ceiling was a perfect recreation of Earth's night sky, showing constellations as seen from the northern hemisphere. We created this after receiving transmissions of your astronomical data, Venlar explained. We find your perspective on the cosmos refreshing. Ethan was about to respond when his communication device buzzed. It was a message from Earth marked urgent. The Vraxians had deployed their weapons platforms. The quantum virus had been activated. Before he could process this information, another message came through. This one from Jack Powell aboard the Horizon. Captain, we're picking up multiple ships entering the Ardelian system. Vraxian signatures. Ethan showed the message to Venlar. It seems the Vraxians have tracked us here. The chief philosopher's golden skin darkened with concern. This is unprecedented. No military vessels are permitted in Ardelian space without council approval. The assembly was thrown into confusion as the news spread. Venlar called for order. If the Vraxians have violated our sovereignty, they have violated council law, he announced. I call for an emergency council session. Within minutes, the amphitheater's central platform transformed into a holographic communication array. The faces of representatives from dozens of council species appeared around them. Among them was Zorthak, who looked genuinely distressed. The Vraxian fleet commander has exceeded his authority, he told the assembly. The council had not yet reached a decision on Earth's proposal. The Vraxian representative, a large, heavily armored individual named Drex Gore, growled in response. The humans have infiltrated our networks. They deployed a virus against our defense platforms. This proves they cannot be trusted. A murmur ran through the council representatives. This was bad. The Vraxians had discovered the quantum virus sooner than expected. Ethan stepped forward into the center of the holographic display. All eyes turned to him. Yes, he said clearly. We created a defensive measure that temporarily disables your weapons. We did not destroy them. We did not attack you. We simply prevented you from caging us in our own solar system before the council could fairly debate our proposal. He paused, looking at each representative in turn. Ask yourselves this. If our positions were reversed, what would you have done? Would you accept imprisonment without seeking a better solution? Would you surrender your future without trying to change minds through words and ideas first? The council chamber fell silent. Then Venlar stepped forward to stand beside Ethan. The Ardelian Philosophical Collective formally requests that the quarantine order be suspended pending further discussion, he announced, and we invite any council species who value cultural exchange and peaceful coexistence to join us. One by one, other representatives began to speak up. The Teslari, the Novidians, the Kyrian Assembly, 5, then 10, then 15 species stood, with the Ardelians. Drexgore's image grew larger in the display. This changes nothing. The Vraxian fleet will secure the human solar system as planned. No, said a new voice. They will not. The holographic chamber fell silent as a new figure appeared in the council display. It was Admiral Krelvon, Supreme Commander of the Combined Council Defense Forces. Unlike the other Vraxians, his scales were pale gray with age, and his eyes held wisdom rather than anger. Drexigor, the Admiral said, his voice calm but firm. You have violated council procedure. The debate was still ongoing. No military action was authorized. Drexgore's image flickered as he turned to face his superior. Admiral, these humans are dangerous. They hacked our defense platforms. They disabled weapons aimed at their homeworld, Krelvon corrected. Weapons deployed without council authorization. I have reviewed the human response. They showed restraint. They could have destroyed the platforms, but they chose a non-violent solution. The Admiral's words sent ripples through the assembly. Even among the Vraxians, his opinion carried enormous weight. The Combined Defense Forces hereby take command of all Vraxian ships in Earth's solar system, Admiral Krelvon announced. They will withdraw to a neutral position until the Council reaches a formal decision. Drex Gore started to protest, but his image vanished from the display. The Admiral had cut his connection. On Earth, Secretary General Martinez and her team watched these developments with cautious hope. The Vraxian ships were pulling back from their positions. "It seems we have allies within the Council after all," Martinez said. "Better than that," Alan Wright added, monitoring the data stream from the Council network. "The Vraxian Imperium is being censured for acting without authorization. Their voting rights have been temporarily suspended." Back in the Ardelian Assembly Hall, the emergency council session continued. With the immediate threat neutralized, attention turned to Earth's proposal. Zorthak, who had been quietly observing, now stepped forward. "Honored representatives, I believe this situation offers us a unique opportunity. For 10,000 years, the Council has governed through rules and traditions that have served us well, but perhaps some of these traditions need reconsideration." The alien diplomat's skin shifted to a thoughtful shade of purple as he continued. "The humans have demonstrated qualities we should value, not fear. When faced with overwhelming force, they sought dialogue. When threatened with confinement, they proposed partnership. Even their defensive measure was designed to prevent conflict, not escalate it." Venlar, the Ardelian chief philosopher, nodded in agreement. "I propose a new solution. Instead of quarantine, we offer Earth provisional membership in the Galactic Council." A murmur ran through the assembly. This was unprecedented. Provisional membership had never been granted to a species that hadn't developed independent, faster-than-light travel. "The terms would be mutually beneficial," Venlar continued. "Humans would have access to Council technology and star charts, while Council species would benefit from human creativity and innovation." Over the next several hours, a new proposal took shape. Earth would agree to limited military expansion for 50 years, but would face no restrictions on scientific and cultural missions. In return, they would share their unique approaches to problem-solving and artistic expression with the broader galactic community. 2 months later, Secretary General Olivia Martinez stood in the Great Hall of Harmony on the neutral planet Nexus Prime. Around her were representatives of all 76 Council species. Today, Earth would become the 77th member of the Galactic Council, the first ever admitted before developing their own faster-than-light technology. Martinez wore a simple blue dress with a small Earth flag pin. As she approached the central platform to sign the agreement, she saw familiar faces in the assembly: Captain Ethan Cole, Admiral Natalie Rivera, Dr. Alan Wright and his team, and the diplomatic specialists who had helped make this moment possible. Ambassador Zorthak, now appointed as Earth's Council liaison, stood beside the Nexus Prime Keeper of Records. His skin glowed with a pleased blue hue. "Secretary General Martinez," the Keeper intoned, "do you accept the terms of provisional membership as outlined in the Agreement of Nexus?" "On behalf of all humanity, I do," Martinez replied, her voice steady and clear. The agreement was signed, and the Great Hall erupted in the various sounds of alien approval, some clapping as humans did, others humming, glowing or releasing pleasant scents into the air. Afterward, at the reception, Zorthak approached Martinez privately. "There is something you should know," the alien diplomat said quietly, "about why some of us truly feared humanity's response to the Council's threat." Martinez raised an eyebrow. "I thought it was our unpredictability, our capacity for violence." "Those were the official reasons," Zorthak admitted. "But the deeper, you're the one many wouldn't acknowledge, was your adaptability." "Our adaptability? Over millennia, most Council species have specialized and optimized," Zorthak explained. "The Ardelians excel at philosophy and art but rely on others for defense. The Vraxians are supreme warriors but lack diplomatic finesse. The Teslari are technological geniuses but struggle with abstract concepts." He gestured toward the humans mingling with aliens throughout the hall. "But humans, you remain generalists. You adapt. You think laterally. You find unexpected solutions to problems. Today you turned a quarantine threat into membership. You transformed potential enemies into allies." Martinez smiled. "We had good teachers, Fear and conflict have taught us hard lessons throughout our history. And that is why you will thrive here, Zorthak said. The Council needs fresh perspectives. We have grown comfortable in our ancient ways. Across the hall, Dr. Alan Wright was deep in conversation with scientists from 7 different Council species. They had established Earth's first interstellar research collaboration, focused on combining human creativity with alien technical knowledge. Captain Ethan Cole, now promoted to Admiral, stood with Maria Ryan, who had been appointed as Earth's first official ambassador to the Council. They watched as humans and aliens exchanged ideas, stories, and knowledge. Hard to believe it was only 3 months ago that we thought we were about to be imprisoned in our own solar system, Ethan remarked. Or destroyed, Maria added. Instead, we've jumped ahead centuries in our development. Admiral Cole nodded, his eyes on the massive viewport that showed the gleaming spires of Nexus Prime, and beyond them, the stars that were now open to humanity. What the Council failed to understand, he said quietly, was that humans have always turned adversity into opportunity. It's what we do best. Outside the viewport, ships from a dozen species docked with the first human-built space station beyond the solar system. It had been named Unity, a symbol of humanity's new place in the galactic community. The station's observation deck held a simple plaque with words that summed up the lesson of the past months. The greatest strength is not in weapons or walls, but in the power to turn enemies into friends. And as the Earth delegation looked out at the vast galaxy now open to them, they knew that this was just the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure.